الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين إله الأولين والآخرين، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الداعي الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما، واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما، ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا معنا شقيا ولا محروما. Indeed, all praise are for Allah. We praise Him, we seek His aid and ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil within our own selves and the evil consequences of our own actions. Whomsoever Allah guides to the straight path of Islam, then there's none who can misguide that person. And whomsoever He allows to go astray, due to the person's own choosing of deviancy, of going astray, of other than the path of Allah, then there's no one at all who can guide that person to the straight path of Al-Islam. And I bear witness that there is no deity, no being, no object worthy of our veneration, our absolute love, hope, reliance and worship except Allah Jalla wa Ala alone, having no partners. And that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslim al-kathira is Allah's slave and final messenger. The best speech is the book of Allah, the Quran. And the best guidance is the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the worst of all affairs introducing to the religion are those that came after his passing away sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For every such matter is a heresy, and every heresy is going astray, and we seek Allah Jalla wa Ala's refuge from. Ameen. My respected ulama kiram and brothers, elders, sisters in Islam, we've now almost, approximately, passed 1 month from the passing of the month of Ramadan. 1 month. And how fast time goes. And yet perhaps this is an opportune time and moment for us to stop and see what course our lives have taken. What course our lives, our days, our weeks, our nights, our months, what course have they taken post the passing of Ramadan? Have we carried on that trajectory, on that path leading to the pleasure of Allah? Or have we moved onto a path left and right, far away from the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How is our relationship with the Quran? Not just in recital, but in studying it, in living it, in thinking about it, in breathing it throughout the day and the night. And our intention today is to take some ayat of the Quran and to really reflect upon it. And to reflect how do our lives actually meet up against these ayat. Allah Jalla wa Ala says in the Quran, after أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود إذ هم عليها قعود وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود وما نقموا منهم إلا أن يؤمنوا بالله العزيز الحميد. Allah Jalla wa Ala, in this amazing, sublime surah, He sets up the standard. And this is the standard mentioned in Surah Al-Buruj. The standard explained and delineated in the ahadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in Sahih Muslim no less, one of the most authentic books of the Sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and in the Quran itself. And this is the story, and this is not a story to go to bed with. This is not a story to go to sleep with. This is a story to live and reflect. When I say live, I need to understand the underlying lessons of it. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam informed us that there was, from the nations before us, the nations before Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, before the Sharia al-Muhammadiyah, there was a king who was a tyrannical, despotic king. And he used to rule the whole of society by his illusions, by that, what's the word? By that manufacturing of consent, by creating these illusions. He created these illusions through magicians who would make him as a king look all powerful, as though he was a god, someone worthy of being feared, of having your hope put in him, your fear from him, your reliance upon him, the attributes which are only belonging to Allah Jalla wa Ala. So through this he would manufacture the consent. He would make the people all bow to him, physically and metaphorically, actually and through meaning. But now this magician, who was his head magician, was now growing old. So what happens is the king says, the magician says to the king, I'm now growing old, I can no longer be in your service, you've taken care of me very well, you've made my pockets fat with cash and money, but now I can't serve you that much longer. So give me a small young boy, whom I can train, whom I can mentor, who I can actually nurture upon. He didn't say obviously, but his shirk and kufr, upon this magic. So the king says, good idea. And he chooses this boy. This boy, who comes from a family that's very poor. Just, or at least a regular family. They're struggling to make ends meet. Okay? So this might be any family amongst us. And remember, brothers, and remember, sisters, remember, fathers, and remember, mothers, that indeed every parent, mother and father, grandfather and grandmother, uncle and auntie, every one of us want for our children, for them to have a good life, for them to have the best start in life. Every one of us want them to have that springboard, for them not to have a very difficult, awkward, uncomfortable life. Which one of us don't want that for our kids? We want them to have a good, cushioned start in life. And these parents were no different. So they were given this offer, and they saw it as a golden pathway, a golden staircase and stairwell, giving them social mobility, helping them to get richer, to have a basic good life. Not because they wanted to be evil, but they just wanted to have a comfortable life. And they said, like maybe many of us, when we get wealthier, when we get richer, when we get more comfortable, then we'll be able maybe to help Islam more. We will be able to help the mosque more. We'll be able to help so many good causes. But this was the wrong move. Because this man who was serving this despotic king was not in a noble path. He was not upon a deen ilahi, the path of Allah, at all. He was not upon the way of Hanifiyya of Ibrahim alayhi salam, at all. So it was a mistake. But anyway, the child is a child. He carries on. So he's going from the house to the magician's classroom and training ground for that magic. On the way, as he's going, and he goes and then comes back after a few days. One day he's going there, and he passes by the house of a rahib. A rahib is like a monk. Someone who's not just a monk, but he has knowledge, he has ilm, he has ibadah, he has quality, he has depth, he has Islam. And he heard some of the tilawah being done. So what happens? He gets drawn to it and he stops outside listening. He makes the intention as he's about to leave from the magician's place, I want to stop at that person's house today. So he stops and he asks about it. The monk calls him in. He teaches him from the Quran, not the Quran, the Torah. And he's teaching him from the tilawah, from the book of Allah, the recitation, the ibadah. The boy, because of his fitrah, his natural human condition that wants to know Allah. He wants to be close to Allah, just the way each and every one of you and I want to know Allah and be close to Allah. We might get distracted by this and that, by TVs and computer games and Xboxes and dramas on televisions. A'udhu billah, Bollywood and so forth. But in the human condition, there's this hollowness, this emptiness, this vacuum that can only be fulfilled by being close to Allah and knowing Allah and worshipping Him and Him alone with no partners. That is what's needed. So he gets close. The problem is, he does this the next day, on his way going to the magician's place. And again, he stops and he listens, then he goes and he arrives late. The magician then beats him, wrongfully of course, for being late. And then when he gets home, he stops again on the way to learn more about the deen. And he gets home late then. His family then chastise him and discipline him. So then the next day he asks the monk on the way towards the magician, what should I do? He says, try and leave early from the magician's place to go, stop at my place and then go home. If you arrive late at home and they ask you why you're late, say the magician kept you later than you wanted. Okay? Clever answer. And when you're heading to the magician, ask to leave early from home to go to the magician. And if they say, no, you don't need to go yet, then when you arrive late to the magician's place, then tell him that who kept you late? Who? Your family kept you late. Okay? So he's now provided this young man with a solution as well. Now the problem was, this young boy, this young man, and it could have been a young girl, but it was a young man, says, I had this conflict in my mind. Which path do I choose? The path of the monk or the path of the magician? The magician is a man with might, with power, with money, with strength, with political influence and gravitas. The monk is a humble man. He's a man not of huge power, not of huge influence, not of huge money and bank account, but he's a person of worship of Allah. And the young man's thinking, but how should I use my gifts, my talents, my skill sets? Well, the answer is clear in the Quran. What were you created for? What were you created for? Yes, everything can be a form of ibadah, but there is core ibadah. And there's other stuff. So, one day, now, he said, oh Allah, give me a sign. So one day as he's going towards the magician or going home, on his way to the magician in fact, this creature appears on the road. And it occludes, it blocks the whole road. They can't pass from their home, the people can't cross the road. They don't know what this creature is. What's going on? But Allah Jalla wa Ala caused it to happen. So then, what happens is, the young man, he says, on this day, today, I will learn what is more pleasing to my Lord, Allah Jalla wa Ala. Is it the way of the monk or the way of the magician? He picks up a stone, just a stone, brothers and sisters, and he says, oh Allah, show me the way. And he has the intention, he's got two stones. He's going to first say, oh Allah, in the name of the monk, the one who worships Allah. If this is pleasing to you, remove it. When this rock hits the wall, when this rock hits the monster or this creature. And if it doesn't work, then I'll say it in the name of the magician. So he takes the rock and says, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the monk, Allahu Akbar. He throws it. It hits the creature. Immediately the creature falls. And all the people around him start saying Allahu Akbar. They didn't hear what he said. They were rejoicing. They didn't say Allahu Akbar. They rejoiced. They cheered. They were really happy. This creature fell to the ground. It was no longer there. People could carry on their business. But now the boy said, today I know who's upon the heart. Today I know who's upon the pleasure of Allah. Today I know who and in which direction my allegiance and my loyalty needs to be. When I say allegiance and loyalty, I mean what? That one's desire and mechanism of getting close towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was still being decent in civic senses of the word, of course. So then he carries on. He stops on the way back home. He couldn't wait to tell the monk. Do you know what happened today? Do you know what happened? Yeah, I had this incident and I did this and I did that and I said your name. The monk's face was very serious. He's like, you might be happy, but you don't know what this means. On this day, today, you have now reached a station higher than my own station. I've been involved in ibadah and ilm and ta'aleem and tadrees, learning, teaching, lecture. But today, on today's date, you've now surpassed. Until today you'd fallen. Now you've passed my stage, let me tell you this. The tests of Allah are going to come. They are going to come. But when they come, please, my request to you, because I'm an old man, I'm very feeble, I ask of you and request of you, please do not mention my name. So at that point, the boys brought to the king's court, in the king's palace, because there's a blind relative of the king, so or a friend or acquaintance. So the king says, oh boy, and the boy happens to be there. So then the boy says to the blind man, he says to him, ask Allah, in the name of Allah, may your blindness be removed. Like Isa alayhi salam, in the same tradition. So what happens? The blind man starts to be able to see. The king says, oh young man, oh young boy, ya ghulam, has your magic learning gone so fast and so far in such a short period of time that you were just learning 3 months ago, and now in less than a quarter of a year you're doing stuff that your teacher can't even do, magic. He said, this is not magic. This is my Lord that's cured it. He said, which Lord? I thought I was your... He says to the boy, I thought I was your Lord. So then the boy says, no, my Lord and your Lord is Allah. The king is thinking, oh, goodness me. The whole plan I've got to maintain my structure and my power is all going before my own eyes. Because this boy, who I've invested so much money in and projects and so forth to make sure he will take forward this plan to be able to continue manufacturing consent and subduing the people, he's believing in something other than me. Ridiculous. So then he tries to put pressure on the boy. The boy is not going to give in. So then one by one, what happens is, the king then says, oh my gods, come, take this boy and take him onto a boat and drown him in the boat, in the ocean, in the water, and then come back. The boy goes and he knows that he is there working for Allah, so Allah will never let him down. He goes in the boat, and as the soldiers are about to pick him up and throw him over the side of the boat, the boy says the dua, Allahumma kfinihim bima shi'ta. Oh Allah, suffice me from them by whatever you wish. Notice the boy's very peaceful. We like to talk about peace, don't we? So he's very peaceful. But he has a clear sense of where and who he worships. So what happens? The boat starts to scutter, or starts to shake. And all the gods, one by one, they fall over the sides, and only the boy remains. This seems unbelievable for us, but we believe in it. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam informs us. The Quran alludes to it. The boy comes back home. No, sorry. A'udhu billah. See, this is me talking. The boy comes back home. Would the boy come back home? No, he's on a mission for the sake of Allah. So he goes back to who? He goes back to the king. The king says, what happened to your gods? What happened to your ashab? My gods, rather. The ones I sent to actually have you dealt with. He said, Allah dealt with them. The king says, Khalas, next batch of gods. You take him this time to a mountain top and take him to the tallest mountain and push him off the top. So he goes, they take him and they take him to the mountain top. Again, they're about to push him over and he says, Allahumma kfinihim bima shi'ta. Oh Allah, suffice me. I'm in your path. One by one, the soldiers, the guards, they fall off the top and the boy is preserved. As the mountain starts to shake, they fall over and he comes back walking to the king. The king says, look, what's going on? He says, shall I tell you what's going on? You need to listen to me, and then you'll be able to harm me. Until you listen to me, you will not be able to harm me. And the story now comes to an end. The boy says, you need to call the whole of the country, the society, or the community. Gather them in one place like this, and then put me on the mountaintop, on the hill. And you stand on the other part, and you take an arrow from my own quiver, from my own collection of arrows, and you take aim towards my temple, my forehead. The boy is saying this. He's telling him how he will be harmed. And then you say, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy. And then you let go of the arrow and it will hit me. And then you will do away with me. So the king then calls all the people. They're all awaiting. Then the boy comes and he's placed on the hill. The king comes. He takes an arrow from the quiver of the boy. He takes aim at the forehead of the boy and says, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy. He lets go of the arrow. The arrow hits his forehead. The boy falls. Blood begins to seep from his head. And he then basically is beginning to die. And he then is now in the stages of death. But the people who are all watching, they say, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest. We believe in Allah, the Lord of the boy. The king suddenly realized that all of his plans, all of his elaborate schemes had failed, had completely become a shambles. This was an omni-shambles of a different kind altogether. So what happened? He realized he had won, what's the expression? He'd won the battle and lost the war. He lost the real finish. The people began believing in Allah. So then what happens? He says, you know what? I still have the might. I still have my army. He orders his soldiers to start digging pits. And the pits are filled with fire. And he says, whoever believes that I am the creator, the Lord and the God, then he can remain living. Whoever believes in the Lord of the boy and believes in Allah will throw him in the fire, the pit of fire. These fires, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ, that curse or completely lost from any sense of khayr are the people of the pit who dug these pits. النَّارِ ذَاتِ الْوَقُودِ, that they were actually causing this fire to be circling the flames of this fire for the believers. وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ, and they had no reason to attack these believers except that they believed in Allah Al-Aziz Al-Hakim. They believed in Allah, the one who's almighty, the one worthy of praise, Alhamdulillah. This was the only reason. Not because they were silly, not because they were stupid, not because they weren't educated, not because they didn't have degrees, not because they didn't have military might or they didn't have control of the media, but because they worshipped Allah. No other reason. And from these people, there were some who accepted to face the end, and there were others who gave in and they said, we believe in the king as being the Lord. That was it. Again, I say all of those other reasons are good things to develop, important, crucially important things to develop. Education, media influence, skills, management, all of this is hugely, I again say hugely important. But the core of the life of the believer is his or her connection with Allah. And that is what they were tested for. What are the lessons we want to quickly end with this whole session with, because the time is now up. Number one, I often will be in gatherings and people say, oh, there's so much pressure on the community and this, that, the other. Only if we're a bit more educated, or a bit more this, or a bit more that. If we had more media influence, or if all of our akhlaq was very good, then we'd all be in an amazing situation. But our akhlaq isn't that good. Let me quickly just explain what this means. Education-wise, we need, I repeat, we must aim for the very top grades, the best grades in the world. Literally the world. Because that's what a believer should do. But let us not be under the illusion that we need to have the iman. Our grades as a community was actually above that of the rest of normal society. But that didn't give us izzah. Izzah comes from Islam. Whoever has Islam will be given izzah in this world and in the hereafter. That doesn't mean you get what you want, but that means you will have the pleasure of Allah, which is what you and I were created for. This is the message of today's reminder.